The Scam of Death. In the quiet village of Indirande, nestled between rolling hills, lived a man named Nelson. He was known for his wisdom, but his life had been filled with sorrow. His father, mother, and two brothers had all died mysteriously, each time after visiting a famous prophet in the neighboring town. The prophet, a self-acclaimed man of God, had promised healing, but instead death followed. Nelson had always suspected something was wrong, but fear kept him silent. However, when his best friend, Kato, fell sick and decided to visit the same prophet, Nelson knew he had to act. Nelson followed Kato to the prophet's shrine, hiding behind trees as Kato was led inside. He watched as the prophet sprinkled mysterious powders and whispered incantations, demanding a large sum of money for complete healing. As Nelson listened, he realized the truth. This was not a man of God, but a con man preying on desperate people. Many families had sold their land, cattle, and belongings, believing they were paying for miracles, only to bury their loved ones days later. Nelson felt rage boiling inside him. He decided to expose the scam, even if it meant risking his life. That night, Nelson gathered the elders and shared what he had seen. Some were afraid, believing that speaking against the prophet would bring curses, but others saw reasons. They devised a plan. The next day, Nelson pretended to be sick and visited the prophet with a hidden recording device. As expected, the prophet demanded money and performed the same ritual. But this time, Nelson captured everything: his tricks, the fake healing, and even the threat he made if Nelson failed to pay. With solid evidence, the village elders confronted the prophet. At first, the prophet denied everything, calling Nelson a liar. But when the recording was played before the whole village, his true nature was revealed. Angry villagers demanded justice, and soon the authorities arrived. Upon investigation, they found poisonous herbs in the prophet's shrine, substances that weakened people instead of healing them. The prophet had been slowly poisoning his victims to keep them sick, ensuring they kept coming back until they either died or gave him all their wealth. He was arrested, and the village finally understood the depth of his deception. With the prophet gone, Nelson led the village in rebuilding their faith, not in false prophet, but in community strength, proper medical care, and education. He encouraged them to seek hospitals when sick and to question anyone who demanded money in exchange for miracles. Slowly, change came to Ndirande. The people no longer feared speaking out against deception, and families stopped selling their belongings in blind faith. Nelson's courage has saved them from generations of manipulation. The story of Nelson and the scam of death spread far beyond Ndirande, serving as a lesson to many. Desperation should never silence reason, and faith should never replace wisdom. True healing comes from truth, not trickery. Through awareness and education, communities across Africa began to recognize and challenge those who exploited their fears. And so, from one man's bravery, a whole generation led to stand against the darkness that once stole their. Hope you enjoyed the stories. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to my YouTube channel for more interesting stories.